Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 2 of Let's Play Factorio. That piano volume's a little loud. I'm going to bring that down. So in this episode, my goal is to create a second bus over here, or a second section over here that creates electronic circuits. I did not do anything off camera, so I still have a lot of work to do here. But first thing I need to do is I need to split off the copper here, and I need to split off the iron again, and this is going to turn into a little bit of a noodle mess here. Oh, that's not going to work. And this is why I should have built this out farther. Whatever, I don't care. Another thing you can do... Yeah, so I should have planned this out a little bit better with my buses. Usually there's like a gap in between so you can set an extra space, but I decided to go super hardcore and just try to make it condensed, and that's not a good way to do it. So iron plates by themselves are the raw material, and copper cables are something that we need to use more of. So what I'm going to do is, since copper cables are easy to manufacture, I'm actually going to start the copper cable production down here. And I think that should work a little bit better. And I know I'm going to need a ton of copper cables, so I'm just going to bring this out. And when I need more, I can just produce more. So I'm going to just start with this. I'm going to start with fast loaders, or fast inserters, loaders. So like I mentioned in the last episode, I have been watching Northern Lion and crew play Factorio, which is what spurred me to get back into playing it for me. And they messed up the nomenclature like right away and started calling inserters loaders, and for some reason it got me too. So unfortunately now I apparently am messing up the same thing. I promise that I am not as awful as those guys, and really they're just like they just started learning, so I can't give them a whole lot of crap anyway. But yeah, one of the reasons why I wanted to start playing this game again is because they were so awful at it. It's one of those things where it's just like, oh my god, I have to play this game again just to prove that I know what I'm doing, because yeah, it was definitely a thing that was a little frustrating to watch initially, but that's how it goes. Okay, that takes red, and I'm just kind of wasting research, I guess. But whoops, too far away. Like, I just don't know what else to research right now, so I'm just doing that. There we go. We've got copper production. Again, if I need more copper, I have all of this room to expand, but really what I need right now is I need to build a lot of electronic circuit production. So what I'm going to do, I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. It might be ideal. Let me turn down this music a little bit more. It might be ideal for me to basically have the iron plates and the copper wire on the same thing. So I'm thinking that I can... a text message. Okay. My wife's not feeling very well, and she's stuck at an art show. Well, not stuck, but she's at an art show. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to basically just create... Actually, let me do this in a different way. Because what would be nice if I had some kind of carousel like this, and the center outputted... Yeah, no, I was doing that right before. The center outputs back into the middle. So I'll basically just have in the middle here, I'll have an output of electronic circuits that just goes like that, and then we're golden. With this, we're just going to put a splitter here. I'm going to put a splitter a little bit farther down, actually. Oops. And then this splitter will go like that. Do I have anything else that I can... See, I need to start making green science, and that's next on my list. But right now, it's I know that electronic circuits are a gigantic part of. Oops, I'm gonna go like this, and really, that actually bothers me. I want to bring it up one. If you're OCD, this is the perfect game for you, because you will always have something to do. Like this was one off, and that bothers me, so I'm going to go like that. So then I just have to remove all these, and I have a big surplus of copper cables in my inventory now, but that's something that I can manage and deal with. So now all I need to do is I have these construction facilities. So we just go boop, 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 and start here, and we will build a lot more as we move forward here. So fast inserters, because there's so much that goes into these. 3 copper cables and 1 iron plate. We want to put those materials into there as quickly as possible. So and like I said before, I am not a master Factorio player by any stretch of the imagination. I am an enthusiast at best, and so if I make mistakes, please forgive me for that. But there. So now all we need to do is set this to electronic circuits, and I need more power cables. So I'm actually, I'm pretty confident in my abilities in this game until I get to doing things like extracting oil. That always seems to get me, somewhat confused. Okay. I thought I saw, yeah, there's one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a bit more production here, just back, and then the other way. Actually, what I'll do is I'll do 5. Yeah, perfect. And then if I have 5, I'm going to need... See, yeah, if you look at this, my production for iron is already way down, and the bottleneck is right here. So honestly, I use this as kind of a backup, just in case if I do run out. But for the time being, I have a feeling that this is probably just going to be faster if I go like this. With copper, it's fine because I'm not using as much copper yet, but I know I will in the future. So this will probably change too. And what these are good for is they're good for basically just creating a system that has a backup. So if you do expend a lot of resources up in the top, you're able to cushion that blow, so you're not just devouring all of your resources without any kind of backup. And really, that's more of a late game thing, I think, but it's still important to keep in mind. So go boop, 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 boop. And then we just need to wait for our inserters to come around, and really, I can always update this a little bit more in the future, but for the time being, let's just call this good and just go like this. Ah, shit, there's a cat barfing. So I will be back in a few minutes. I'm at 9 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm going to write that down somewhere. Okay, and we're back. Sorry about that. That's just how it goes sometimes. So I just have to make sure that I mark down where exactly the episode, or where I stopped, and then started again. So, hello everybody. It might have been a couple seconds to you, but it was about 10 minutes for me. Just making sure the kitty was okay. Oh, there's no track here. There we go. So now we've created a very simple system to bus our electronic circuits up towards wherever we might need them in the future. And I think that will be coming up fairly soon because I want to start making green science, which actually requires inserters and transport belts, which is going to start making things more complicated because transport belts are fairly simple. They take iron plates and iron gear wheels, so you just need iron. But inserters require circuits and iron. So I'm going to need to create another system over here. Or actually, no, I'll probably keep my science production over on this side. So I will be pushing over my circuits and my iron, and I will be creating a lot of stuff to get pushed down into this system over here. Yeah, and if you look at this already, you can see that we have pretty much consumed, or we've pretty much we're over capacity on red science here. So what we've done over here, it's starting to back up, and eventually this will fill up all the way, and then it'll stop consuming these resources, and then I won't have to worry about that system anymore. In the meantime, I can start working on that green science, and I don't know if that'll be the end of this episode because that'll be a little bit more complicated of a system, but there's definitely a lot of things to create. So we go like this, and there we've got our three resources. So this one goes up, this one goes up, this one goes up. And this is very expandable as well. So if I ever needed more, I can just basically expand this out as far as it will let me do it. And there is a limit to where these inserters or these production facilities will be consuming the resources so fast that the ones at the end will never get anything. And I don't know the exact numbers for that, but that is a little ways off, and hopefully we won't be reaching that soon. But it's always possible to just create another one of these facilities just later up in the bus, and then just kind of squish it all together into one, just to shore up any resources. Or alternatively, we can just create another system on the top here, so we have the top and the bottom both funneling into the middle, and that should work as well. So let's just review what we're doing so far. Another thing that I can do now is I can get a submachine gun and a shotgun and some light armor. I don't have steel plates yet, so I can't get heavy armor. Another thing I should do is probably build a couple radars. And I don't need a ton of those because I'm not worried about hostile aliens. But I probably should grab a couple of those just so I can start mapping this out better, because in the future it looks like I do have oil up here and I have oil down here, so that's not a problem. But in the past times that I've played this game, I have always run out of oil, and that can be very, very frustrating. So hopefully I can stymie that problem by being a little bit more proactive, and excuse me. And yeah, then we can move on from there. So it looks like we're doing okay overall with all of this stuff. What I might do is get rid of this too. I don't think this is necessary. I am going to create a buffer system, which I think is what it's traditionally called. But what happens with this buffer system is this. So I'm going to stop production for a couple seconds here, and I'm going to create a system where I split the resources, but then I bring them back together up here. Or do I do that wrong? Okay. It's actually straight. I think this is how it works. I'm trying to remember now. I haven't done this in a while. So basically what you want is you want a system where the resources go all the way through, but it's also split, so you're able to do that whole buffer system. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, let me do that a little bit better. And like part of the problem with Factorio is sometimes it just requires some quiet time and some thinking, and that's not always good TV. But you know, that's how it goes. So then we can take some fast inserters and go like that. But what I want is I want to make sure that sure, let's see if there's anything else. Nothing else requires just one, or just red. So circuit network or logistics 2, we can go with that. So what happens here is that at least we have something. So these will fill up, and they hold a ton of iron. So when I start running low on production, I can these will kick in, and they'll at least try to shore up some of the deficiencies that the system might have. The problem with this is that it's like only going in this inside track. I thought that there was a way to merge the two tracks together again, and maybe that's just, oh right, duh, that's just taking an inserter and doing it the other direction. So I just need to make 2 more inserters, or splitters, sorry. So if I go like this, there, that should fix the problem. Yeah. So now basically all that's going to happen is these are going to fill up, and they're going to fill up with a ton of iron and copper, and that should shore up any problems that I have for the near future. So that's a very simple way of handling it, but and it might not be the most efficient way, but at least it ensures that production is going to continue for the immediate future, and I'm not too worried about that. So what I'm going to do in the next episode, because I am coming up on my time limit, is I am going to work on green science, and green science will be good and not terribly difficult. And the other bonus of green science is that it also allows production of a couple resources that are really tiresome to make, like for example, belts. I'm just going to throw these down at random positions. They don't really, they just kind of scan the map, and they reveal various things based on location. They also take up a lot of power, but I am still pretty good on power, so I'm not super worried about it. And I can always just make another power facility down there too. So yeah, this little base is chugging right along, and I'm pretty happy with it so far. In the future, this is my power facility down here, so I'm probably going to have to make another power facility. But again, that should be pretty straightforward and easy. And maybe I'll do that in the next episode too, just because it'll be good to have a little bit more production. And yeah, so next episode I'm going to start work on green science and probably do another power facility down south. And that should probably take us to the end of that episode, if not a little further. So for the time being, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please consider clicking that like button and subscribing to this channel, because there's going to be a lot more of this in the future. Again, I am still not sure if I want to make this a long-standing series or just kind of like a 3 or 4 episode one-off. So please, if you like this series, please let me know in the comments so I can continue doing it. In the meantime, again, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.